What's up guys, it's Project and welcome to my weapon guides for Monster Hunter World. These guides are aimed specifically at the best combos of a weapon to get the most DPS out of them, but I'll also explain the mechanics and role of a weapon for new players to get a better understanding about the weapon they plan to use. So I'm not going to waste your time by covering every move, as in my opinion such guides aren't needed anymore when we have the training room now and with damage numbers to show what does what. As complex as Monster Hunter is, it can be simplified to just using specific moves to deal the most damage. Most, if not all weapons have a special quirky attack that can deal a lot of damage, and usually speed killers abuse these attack patterns to dish out the most damage. So my guides will act as a step towards that direction. Of course, you can use all the moves the weapons have to offer, and there might be some things I miss or are more useful as utility, but more often than not, the combos I'll show are the attacks you want to use the most. Before I begin, just know I play the PS4 version and have my controls to swap R2 with R1, so whenever I refer to R1, it's R2 if you're using the default scheme, or whatever it is on Xbox. I also did every test naked, no armor or charms equipped, nor buffs used. With the third beta still being active, here's the guide for my second favorite weapon, the Switch Axe. The Switch Axe is a rather unique cutting type weapon introduced in Monster Hunter Tri that was the first weapon to feature a trick-like system similar to that of Bloodborne of having two attack modes you can alternate between of, as its name implies, those modes being Axe and Sword. It also features a file system which applies various bonuses to Sword mode depending on the file type. Sword mode also is bounce proof, so your attacks cannot be deflected. Because of this, Sword mode is usually the de facto way to do the most damage with this weapon. However, the Axe mode is needed to recharge the energy gauge, which is crucial since you need energy to attack with Sword at all. New to World is a new aura around the gauge which is filled by attacking with Sword mode, and once filled enough, will activate a passive buff called Amp State, which not only increases damage to some sword attacks, but also applies additional small hits to each attack. The aura flashes when it's about to revert back to normal, so make the most of it while it lasts. When in Axe mode, the energy gauge will slowly refill over time. However, if the energy is lower than the marker seen on the gauge, you can perform a quick refill which gives you a decent chunk of energy back. You can also gain some energy through morph attacks, where if you spam them, you will refill more energy than you lose. However, the damage isn't great doing that, so I recommend simply using the quick refill from Axe mode once below the marker on the gauge. There's a special move in Sword mode called Element Discharge, where pressing triangle plus circle jabs the blade forward, and if you follow it up by pressing triangle repeatedly, you'll eventually release a huge explosion. If you're in the amp state I mentioned before, you'll latch onto the monster with this attack, so this is useful when a monster is about to leave since you'll hitch a ride and hopefully stun them from the explosion. However, if latched on and the monster does a move that would hit you normally, you will get hit and knocked off the monster, so use it with caution in that regard. You can play around this by simply not pressing triangle after latching on to do a quick premature explosion if you know the monster is going to do an attack that would hit you. However, despite how cool and damaging this move may look, it's actually not the best damage due to its long recovery time after the explosion, so I only recommend using it just before your amp state or gauge are done for, or again if the monster is about to leave and you can latch on. It may have a better use depending on file type however, as the one in the beta is Power, which is usually best for damage, but something like Paralysis or Poison file may work or apply its effect better with Element Discharge, so keep that in mind when it comes to forging.
Combo 1.
Combo 1 is the most damage you're going to get from Switch Axe's Amp State in a reasonable time, which basically alternates from triple triangle into circle, then you repeat that. You do need about 80% gauge energy to do the combo thrice, but it's definitely going to be your main damage dealer once you have the monster incapacitated somehow through traps or tripped, etc, which usually last about 10 seconds anyways, so you should get the whole combo off for a lot of damage.
Combo 2.
The second combo, while less damage, consumes less gauge, and is probably the better one to use if the monster is not in place as often, but it's really simple to pull off since it's just alternating between triangle and circle.
Combo 3.
And lastly, Combo 3 isn't for damage, but merely the best way to get into the amp state from 0. And funnily enough, it involves the element Discharge. This is faster and does more damage than using sword circle attacks to build up energy. However, it does put you back into Axe mode. But that doesn't make the combo irrelevant, however, as Axe does have a strong attack to go back into sword mode, which is its morph attack from Wild Swing, which will make up the damage lost to the other method of building energy, while simultaneously giving you more energy due to the extended time in Axe mode. But that is it for the combos. I really love this weapon and I really like the new Amp State Edition. For Axe mode though, it does have some good damage dealing moves compared to the normal sword mode, but ultimately when you achieve Amp State, sword mode will leave it in the dust, so that should be your main game plan always. The main advantage Axe mode has is its movement speed and roll, which is faster than sword mode, where sword does a short hop after every attack, while Axe can use the normal roll still. And just FYI, Wild Swing trips people non-stop in multiplayer, so don't be that guy or girl spamming it, you hear? But that's it for the guide. Hopefully it helped you in learning the switch axe and using it effectively faster than ever. It's a really fun and aggressive weapon to play. I'm sure those picking it up will have a blast. We're less than a week away before the game is out. Get hyped, my fellow hunters. If I missed anything important in the video, let me know in the comments and I'll make sure to pin it if it's something major. As always, thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a like, comment down below with any questions or how much you're enjoying the weapon thus far. I would love to hear that from you guys. I would also love for you to subscribe if you haven't. Make sure to click that hunter's bell so you don't miss any cool videos from me. As always, I appreciate the support, and remember,
a hunter must hunt.